So, I decided in around September of 2018 that I was going to sell my Canon M3 and upgrade to a more professional camera of a Sony a7 II. And at the time, I was taking a lot of landscape photos, a lot of wide-angle stuff. I decided that I wanted to learn how to take portraits. So what better way to do it than to just slam an 85mm 1.8 and get to work. That went pretty well. But what I didn't realize is that I'd pretty much shoot exclusively on this lens up until about a month ago. And in that time, I did learn how to take portraits well, so I guess I could say I achieved my goal there. But it also just taught me a lot about being a photographer, videographer, or any form of artist. And I know that's generic, so let me expand on that. What I mean is that it really helped me push my creative boundaries that I had sort of set for myself. The first thing that I can think of is that previously I sort of set limitations on what lenses I would use and where, what tools, and when. What I mean is that I previously thought there was a very hard set of rules, such as using wide-angle lenses for landscapes and using tight lenses for portraits. And by using a portrait lens for anything, because I could only afford one lens for so long, I realized that's really not true. And I wouldn't have known this if I didn't go to Angel's Landing and get a picture of it with an 85 from however many yards out. It just so happened that where I was standing, an 85 framed Angel's Landing perfectly. The whole time before that on the trip, I was kind of bummed out that I wasn't getting the photos that I wanted because the 85 just didn't do the landscapes justice. But once I saw that awesome shot that I got of Angel's Landing, I realized that there's really a shot to be had anywhere with any lens. You just have to have a new perspective available to find it. And I found this is really a good creative exercise. There's a lot of photos to be had that you don't realize are previously there, but once you start trying those new perspectives, they really are for the taking. Using the same lens for so long also just taught me a lot about knowing your equipment well and the benefits that that provides. And knowing your equipment so well is so beneficial because once you know your equipment, you're not thinking about it so much. You're thinking about the creative decisions that happen within those limitations. When you know the limitations and also the things that your equipment is best at, you're thinking about post-production in your head during production, which is a huge advantage. So when you know your gear well enough that you're using it without really thinking twice, your brain is focusing on the bigger picture. And I think that makes you a stronger creator because you're not so focused on the minutia because you know you got it down. So you can focus on what needs to go right in the overarching theme of the video so that you can really nail it in post-production. Using 85mm for so long also pushed me to be stronger in post-production as well. And the reason for this is that if you have the same focal length over and over, the shot and the videos, they kind of blend together, it gets kind of stale. So how do I circumnavigate that? Become a better editor, start to use animations or graphics or other people's clips to make the video more interesting overall and keep a variety of frames to keep the viewer engaged. And lastly, it gave me a confidence boost in my ability as a photographer and videographer. I used this lens body setup for about 8 months at an internship, and I created dozens of photo and video assignments with just an 85. And previously, that's not something that I really felt like I could do, but when I have a job to do, I really pushed myself to get it done, and I learned those limitations and what I had to do to navigate around them. And while those videos might not be the best that they absolutely can be because they might have been limited in some categories by an 85mm, it definitely showed me that the gear doesn't matter as much sometimes. You just need to get it done and still have a product at the end of the day. And that's not to say that gear doesn't matter, but what it does say is that there's always something that can be made and the quality is probably higher than you think, to be honest. It's not that gear doesn't matter, but gear is only a limitation and you can use your creative skills to get around those limitations and create products despite it. And I think learning through restrictions has provided to be a really valuable tool for me. It teaches me in a way that's different from anything else because I guess the best way of saying it is you don't know what you got till it's gone. You don't realize how nice it is to have multiple focal lengths and everything, and so you only get one. And then you have to go from there and think, okay, how can I still meet the end goal with just one focal length and not have a stale project in the end. I hope this didn't sound too corny or lame in the end, but I really did get a lot of value out of using just one lens for so long, and I think there's something to be said about learning through restrictions. I think I learned in such a unique way that I have a deeper understanding of photography and videography, cameras and lenses as a whole. So if this is something you can try, I really recommend it. There's a lot to be learned from just using one lens, and I think you'll learn something original and unique to you that's completely different from what I've learned. So thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you all in the next one.